Okay, so I lied. Before we begin, let's go ahead and get some disclaimers out the way. 1. This is the top 5 villains list. If you get offended by any opinions or facts that's stated about this topic all in all, then either you're in the wrong place or I'm just doing my job right. 2. These are for anime adaptations only, so goons such as, Juha Bak won't be on this list, sorry guys. 3. I'm separating the villains into subcategories. It will make more sense as you continue on with the video, so just hold out for that. And then 4, this list is just for fun, you guys. They're just simply opinionated. If you have your own opinions or thought processes on what the villain should be, just feel free to leave that in the description below. Alright, so to start things off simple, we're going to go ahead and look at blind evil. Now what blind evil to me is an evil that's chaotic, an evil that doesn't discriminate depending on who is suffering the actual atrocities. I don't know about you guys, but I think the best person that fits this category would definitely be Kid Buu from the Dragon Ball series. For those who don't already know, Kid Buu is the original form of the Fat Buu of Dragon Ball. He was created by the evil sorcerer Bibidi, in which his only true purpose in life was literally just a fuck. Like, Bibidi didn't even have a real meaning to him. And that's what Kid Buu succeeded in. He just fucked shit up. Some things that made him a GOAT in this category would definitely be killing and absorbing the gods of his universe, torturing and killing billions for the funsies, hell, blowing up multiple planets in seconds for the funsies. Then I think the biggest feat for him would definitely be breaking into heaven, yes, heaven, and threatening and fighting heaven members to kill them and blow them up. Again, for the funsies. So yeah, Kid Buu for president. Up next we have Unrelenting Evil. Unrelenting Evil is classified by villains who are vengeful, and their origins are typically, give or take, sad or sympathetic, and turns them into the lovable, unforgiving, spiteful sons of bitches that we know today. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely have to settle with Doe Flippin'. Sorry, but Dio Brando takes the cake with this one. Like most villains, his mom isn't present, his father was a complete douchebag, and that not only made him hate his father, but also made him hate his adopted father and his brother Jonathan Joestar. For those who don't already know Dio Brando and Jonathan Joestar, you're missing out by not watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, but what makes him evil in this sense is definitely simply because he killed his father via poison. When he got adopted by the JoJo family, he was responsible for having JoJo's dog burned alive. He stole JoJo's girlfriend's first kiss. He killed his adopted father. Then he antagonized, harassed, and killed Jonathan Joestar. And not only that, what makes him a complete, just unrelenting son of a bitch is the fact that he stole Jonathan Joestar's body, went to sleep for an entire season, woke up just to harass and antagonize his descendants in the 3rd season. Dio's the GOAT, bro. Dio's just the GOAT. Alright, so next up on the evil list, we're looking at intellectual evil. Intellectual evil, just as the name implies, are for villains who had a high intellect, who depended on their mind primarily to manipulate the world around them. For me, the villain that fits this to the T would definitely be Sasuke Aizen from the Bleach series. Sasuke Aizen, the previous captain of the 5th Division and the ruler of Huecamundo for a time being, was probably one of the most intelligent villains that we had in Bleach. Well, even characters in general, probably even to the entirety of the Holy Shonen Trinity, if you ask me personally. Some feats that make him a #1 in this category would be the creation of the Hilgoku, which is pretty much a crystal in which grants the user the ability to do anything that they would like, pretty much. As long as they will for it, they grant the wishes. It's pretty much like a genie that only fucks with you if you have the will of the deed. He's also responsible for the creation of the Hilgoku, which grants the user, yeah, I already said that. He's responsible for the killings and manipulations of hundreds for the sake of the Hogoku's experimentation. He's also caused the creation of the visors and caused his best friend at the time, Kisuke Urahara, to be exiled from the actual Soul Society. He betrayed other close members of his party, such as Momo and the Black Cloak and Tozen. He manipulated and made an entire dimension submit to his will, aka Hueco Mundo. He betrayed and spread conspiracy throughout the entirety of the Soul Society. And most importantly, what makes Aizen a GOAT in this category is simply because he planned and manipulated every hardship in Ichigo's life. This man has literally had been the cause for Rukia even going to the actual Earth at the time for Ichigo to get his powers. He was responsible for Rukia's execution. He was responsible for Orihime being kidnapped. He was responsible for Ichigo getting his ass whooped by Grimmjow. I mean, Aizen is just the GOAT. Like, he made Dio proud. Next, we have Unjust Evil. Unjust evil is a kind of evil that, on a grand scale, gives the illusion of the greater good, but the drawbacks and atrocities used and committed isn't really worth it. I personally think the villain that fits this best would be Madara Uchiha from the Naruto series. Madara Uchiha came from a background that's quite understandable. Pretty much just grew up with bloodshed and war his whole life. Like, that was the meaning of a ninja at that time. So his perspective on the world was pretty much so grim and bitter that nothing could be perfect. And so, honestly, what I'm about to say can be justified by some, but at the end of the day, not really, and I'll get to that. Pretty much everybody who already knows Uchiha Madara, he came up with the Moon Eye Plan. The Moon Eye Plan was a genjutsu, aka an illusion pretty much, that he was going to place on the entire world in order for them to be in a dreamlike state for the rest of their lives, so that way they can have their own perfect world. Now that sounds nice on paper, but in reality, what makes him so evil is simply because it strips people from their free will. Then on top of that, the amount of things that he had to do to even get to that point was kind of I mean, he's responsible for the destruction of the Leaf Village at least 2 to 3 times, 2 times via the Kyuubi, and then another time through Pain, pretty much, because he's simply responsible for that. He's responsible for Pain having the Rinnegan. He's responsible for pretty much the creation of the Akatsuki, if you really want to think about it. He betrayed Obito and used him. I mean, he was responsible for the supposed deaths of the 5 Kage. They were supposed to have died, like they were lucky with Tsunade. And then on top of that, he pretty much annihilated majority of the Shinobi Alliance. Madara was a pretty fucked up dude for the things he did. Lastly, we're looking at Righteous Evil. Now, Righteous Evil I really enjoy, but I know it can be extremely controversial. It's kind of like Unjust Evil, but as it sounds, it's righteous, so it's kind of justified. And I think the villain that fits this best would definitely be Lord Griffith from the Berserk series. Now, for those who don't already know what Griffith has done, okay, look, Griffith is not as complex or evil as people think, in my opinion. Griffith was very simple. His outlook on life was to simply have his own kingdom. That was his only ambition in life. And everyone he has come across have known that was his ambition to begin with. Now, what makes Griffith so evil is simply because he kind of sacrificed his entire army to demons to be eaten, and then used their blood to regenerate and become strong, and then kinda was responsible for his friend losing an arm and an eye, and then to rape the girl that he liked in front of his face. Yeah. But there is a good reason for that. Now, in terms of the army that he sacrificed, aka the Band of the Hawk, every member of that party, including Guts, Casca, the girl that he raped, and the rest of the members pretty much, it was known already that that was his ambition, to be the king of his own kingdom. and at any given moment, they could die for his dream. Every member of the party knew that their lives were simply for Griffith, and they agreed to that. He didn't force nobody to be a part of his band. The only person that he kind of forced to be a part of his band was the main character, Guts. However, Guts and him settled that via swords, and Guts lost rightfully, so it was fair. When it comes to the raping of Casca, I don't really even view the rape as a evil thing, and I know I'm gonna lose like the 10 followers that I have on that, but simply because Casca's raping, Casca liked it. I'm sorry. If you haven't seen Berserk, man, you need to go and see it, because Casca enjoyed it. The thing that made that so messed up is simply because Guts was upset at seeing it, and Griffith only did it just to get at Guts. He didn't do it to make Casca feel good. And then the only other thing that was kind of messed up about it is the fact that she became retarded, but that's a whole nother topic. So yeah, that is my top 5 villains list for the anime of all time. That is my top 5 villains list of anime of all time. Okay, this is terrible, man. You can tell this is my first video, right? Alright. So, feel free to leave any of your opinions or thoughts in the comments below. Again, I do apologize for it sounding kind of weird and funny. This is my first video. I'm hoping it was good enough for you guys to like, share, and subscribe, and give me your opinions on how I can make my videos better, what topics I should use, or just straight up your own opinions on the top 5 villains. I would definitely love to hear you guys out. And with that being said, Firefox out.